you're in my class, then the last video that was posted was the subordinate conjunction song. And since then on the website you've had a lot more work to do, but the last video was the subordinate conjunction song. So we're going to move on from there. Go to your notes, and if you do not have the subordinate conjunction song memorized yet, you need to stop this video and go back and watch that until you have it memorized, because we need to build on that. So today, we're going to review some simple concepts. Write with me in your notes, starting wherever you left off. Every sentence has a blank and a blank. What do you think that is? You learned it in first grade. Every sentence has a what? Subject, right? And a predicate. Next, in every predicate has a simple predicate. Simple predicate. Or, what's it called? What's the simple predicate called? A verb. Okay? Now, hear me on this. A verb is what the subject does. The subject is who or what the entire sentence is about. Your sentence is divided into things, chunks called clauses, okay? There are two types of clauses that we are going to learn. Just to make it simple, a clause is a chunk of a sentence that contains a subject and a verb. Sometimes that chunk of sentence can stand by itself. It can be its own sentence. And that is called an independent clause. Two clauses. Independent clauses. Okay? And sometimes you have a subject and a verb, but it can't stand alone. And that's called a dependent clause. Or sometimes more fancier called subordinate clause. But we're going to call it a dependent clause. Okay, there's dependent clauses and there's independent clauses. Let me give you an example. Here's an independent clause. I tripped. You can add a little more detail on the stairs. Okay? I tripped on the stairs. Are you writing this with me? Because you need to be. What is the subject? Who or what is this entire sentence about? I. I'm going to underline it twice because it's a pronoun, but it is your subject. It's also your simple subject. That is your one-word subject. That is doing the verb. What is the verb? What am I doing? I'm tripping. That's your simple predicate or your verb. Subject, verb. Can this stand alone? Is this a sentence? Yes. It's called an independent clause. So go ahead and write that I-C. Okay? Sometimes you have a sentence that starts with a subordinate conjunction. What is one subordinate conjunction that we've learned from the song? After. After, that's a subordinate conjunction, right? And let's add these words here. After I tripped on the stairs. After I tripped on the stairs. After I tripped on the stairs. That still has a subject, right? It's still about me. I'm still tripping, still has a verb. But it no longer can stand by itself, right? You need something more. You can't just put a period here. After I tripped on the stairs. What happened? Now you need another clause to make it complete. So this clause right here, it has a subject and a verb. It's a clause. It's called a dependent clause. DC. Put DC right here. DC. Okay? That's an independent clause. Has a subject and verb. This is a dependent clause. So how do you fix this? You add an independent clause. What happened after I tripped on the stairs? Okay, see that comma I just added? You're gonna need to add a comma. That's key. After I tripped on the stairs, I fell on my face. I fell on my face. Period. What's the subject here? What's this part about? It's about me. What am I doing? I'm falling. I fell. This chunk of a sentence has a subject and a verb also, right? But this could stand alone. I fell on my face. It's an independent clause. So go ahead and bracket that. Go ahead and write I see. So you have a DC, a dependent clause, followed by an IC. When you start with your dependent clause, you're going to have a comma. Where is the comma? It's after your clause, before your independent clause. So the formula looks like this. Dependent clause, comma, independent clause, period, equals a complex sentence. Okay? Now you can switch the order of that and you still have a sentence. We're going to discuss that tomorrow. For today, know this. There are two types of clauses, independent and dependent clauses. Your dependent clauses will start with a subordinate conjunction. When you start a sentence with a subordinate conjunction, you will have a comma. Where does the comma go? Right there? No, not after the dependent or the subordinate conjunction. It goes after the entire clause, right before the second clause, the independent clause. Okay? That's all you're going to learn today.